It will warm up and brighten for one of these two teams as we are going to crown a brand new 2A state championship here from Legion Field. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Lloyd along with Matt Coulter, and we're pleased to be bringing you the 2A championship game, which features Luverne with a record of 12-2 against Sandrock, a record of 12-1. Now, we have talked about these two teams a lot coming into this football game. Luverne comes in knowing what it's like to knock off teams that have big winning streaks. Luverne knocked off the 55-game winning streak of Clay County earlier in the playoffs.
Clay County had won 3 consecutive 2A championships, but as you mentioned today, we're going to crown a new one because they're out of here and ending a team's 55-game win streak. They did it in round 2. They did it in fine fashion, 21-14 victory. That might give Luverne the edge, but as you see in the rankings, they're ranked number 4 and number 5. These are two very evenly matched football teams.
Now, as we talk about Sandrock, they have a little win streak of their own. They lost their first game of the year. They've reeled out off 12 straight victories. So they're hoping that they can put together at least one more for 1997. Now, as we take a look at the players, the key player that we'll keep an eye on for Luverne is their quarterback. And they have a lot of good players, but this is the guy we're featuring here in the open, and that is KEON Carter.
He's a great athlete, a 5'11", 180-pound senior. And one thing about him is he's smart. And I talked to some of the coaches, and Butch Norman loves to give him the opportunity to audible. And they also have 2 other guys that are being looked at heavily by 1A colleges. One of them is Mel Willis. You'll see him out of the backfield. You'll also see him catching the football, and as you often see in 2A, you'll see him playing some defense as well. And then Buck Jones. Now, that's a football player. He's a tight end sounding name. That's exactly his slot.
Yeah, and he also plays on the other side of the ball, and we'll call his name making some tackles as well. Now, on the other side of the ball for Sandrock, their quarterback is one of the top spots that they have, and of course, he is a good one.
Yeah, and he has thrown for nearly 2,000 yards this year. Big, strong guy, 6 foot, 190 pounds, only a sophomore. But again, JACOWAY, Russell JACOWAY, the head coach for Sandrock, likes to give this guy the ability to check off. And I think that is rare to say in 2A that you give that much confidence. A lot of coaches are very possessive. They want to call all the plays and give them a chance or two to check off maybe once or twice during the game. Not with these guys. They will get up the line of scrimmage. You see them start bobbing the heads around, Jeff. That means they're checking off. They're going to another play.
Sandrock ended the season ranked number 4 in the final polls, and Luverne finished up at number 5. But one of them will be number 1 at the end of the day. Who will it be? We'll tell you and find out when we continue here from Legion Field on ACN Sports. It is a 12 noon kickoff time, but the lights are on here at Legion Field on a cold, gray afternoon. It is 38 degrees. The wind is out of the north at about 5 to 7 miles an hour, and we are ready to crown a 2A state champion. Luverne won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half, and so we will have on defense, first of all, Luverne, and then Sandrock with their record of 12-1, coached by Russell JACOWAY, going on the attack to try to draw first blood. And we have some enthusiastic people in the crowd cheering on both their clubs, and the kickoff will be taken at the 7, up to the 5, the 15, the 20, and down at the 22-yard line. And that's where this game will get underway, and that's how this one starts. That was Tad Abernathy, who will be a wide receiver as they line up.
Got a lot of Abernathys. There's Tad, his twin brother Ty, and then you've got Brandon and you've got Sean. They are, however, unrelated, but Abernathys are wild.
And so they come up to the football. They run out of the I. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And up under center is Lucas McMicken. Sends a man in motion. And on the first play of the game, the tailback gets the call and crashes over the 30 out to the 31 before being met and driven back. That was Stow on the stop defensively, and on the carry it was Ty Abernathy. He's rushed for 18 touchdowns this year, and so we'll be calling his name as well as McMicken quite a bit throughout the afternoon.
He is number 4 in uniform, but number 1 as far as carrying the ball. 1,132 yards for Ty Abernathy. He averages 5.9 a clip for the maroon and white clad Sandrock Wildcats.
That was a 5-yard pickup, and now a pass on second down, and he'll be chased out of the pocket He's going to be stopped short of a first down, but he got enough to get within 1 yard, so he made a lot out of really what was a broken play.
It was. Just all his receivers on the far sideline were covered. These are guys that will be protecting McMicken throughout the afternoon here at Legion Field.
Right. That offensive line, always the unsung hero. McMicken, of course, we've told you about, and, of course, the Abernathys. And they will throw to blank. And John Foster, the tight end. Good look at their quarterback, McMicken. Hands it off to the tailback, running left. This is Ty Abernathy. He has himself a first down.
Campbell, Lowery, Willis, Stowe, Lowery. There's the nose guard. Boy, had a big block point after to get them into the championship game. And there you see, there's Mel Willis. Look at number 8 at the bottom of your screen. You will be hearing a lot from him offensively and defensively.
Yeah, he has 9 interceptions on defense this year, so he has a knack for getting around the football. Draw play in a big hole as Abernathy tries to go left, and a nice open field tackle that slows him down, and that could have been a lot bigger gain for Sandrock.
Well, you just watch number 34, the red streak that will come into your screen here, and shut this play down. Watch him hit about the midsection, drop down, pull the ankles out. That's Sherrod Wood with a great open field tackle. And you're right, Jeff. He could have been going for first down yardage there.
He gets 3. It's 2nd down and 7. And as he exploded off of the handoff, it looked like he was going to get a lot more. The tight end is in motion, sets up on the right side this time. And the toss to the tailback. This is Abernathy, and he is going to be brought down at the 48-yard line.
Well, I think if you look up in the dictionary, workhorse, I think you've got a big old picture of Ty Abernathy. 191 carries through the season. They like to give him the mail. He's already carried 4 times here, and very, very close to first down yardage on that particular attempt.
Not a big guy, only 5'7", 145 pounds. And they're going to bring the chains out to measure this as they try to pick up their 2nd first down of this football game. We've just started. There is no score. Luverne and Sandrock, and it is a first down by half a length of the football.
I like to tell you where these teams are from, because sometimes if you're not in this particular area, Sandrock is, well, oddly enough, from Sand Mountain. Can you imagine that? They're up there in kind of the foothills of Lookout Mountain. And Luverne is kind of a north versus south deal here, because Luverne's one of those little cities you might pass through on the way to the beach down there around Opp and Andalusia and Enterprise. It's down there in South Alabama in the southeast corner.
Speaking of Opp, that is the team they lost to begin the season, and Luverne lost to them and then has reeled off a string of victories. And a running play going again right side. This time the carrier was Sean Abernathy. You can look at him. He's a little bit bigger guy. He's 6'2", 185.
He's carried the ball some 57 times. There's the Tiger. 132 yards. He has a 5.8 per carry average.
It is the Tigers against the Wildcats. Luverne the Tigers and Sandrock the Wildcats. And after losing the first game of the year, Sandrock has reeled off 12 straight victories. And another give to the tailback, and this time it is Ty Abernathy. He goes down after maybe a yard and a half pickup. So far, they have not yet put the ball in the air, but we know that McMicken can do that. He has some very fine numbers.
And there's 4 meeting 34 once again. That's Abernathy and the fine linebacker Sherrod Wood that made the tackle once again.
They're going to get to know each other real well before the afternoon is over.
They may get to know each other real well before the end of this drive.
We are moving quite rapidly through the first period. We're down to 8 minutes to play, no score. And out of the shotgun, we'll get our first look at McMicken on 3rd and 6 as he looks left, chased out of the pocket, still looking, had a man open and throws to the tight end. It's incomplete. He may have waited a little bit too long to unload that pass.
He had Foster open twice. He pump faked the first time, and maybe if he'd thrown it then, Foster would have been a little bit more in tune with the play. McMicken, the 6', 190. Boy, he's got the size, particularly for 2A.
Foster, a nice size for a tight end, 6'3", 245 also. And so we'll see our first punt of the afternoon on 4th and 6. High snap, but he gets it away nicely, hangs it high, and it will be taken at at the 14, and we're going to have a run back. This is Rodney Lowery. Lowery carries it over the 25 to the 27-yard line, and we get our first look offensively at Luverne.
Nice return by Lowery. A lot of times kids get carried away with going right, going left, trying to go the wide side. He just, you know, the shortest way between 2 points is still straight line.
A lot of credit goes to the center. That is a man who one of their coaches really gives lots of credit to. And of course, we have talked about Keon Carter in the opening, and Willis and Kelvin Jones. And on defense, these are the guys that are going to try to shut down that attack.
You got more Abernathys. And in the back, you'll be hearing from Eric Blanks, the free safety. He'll be making some plays there for the Wildcats of Sandrock. There's their head coach.
That is Russell JACOWAY. JACOWAY has a record of 121 wins, 52 losses.
Took over a program in '83 that it had lost 18 consecutive games, and within a year he had him playing for playoff competition. So there's Butch Norman. He took over the legend. You know, he took over Glenn Daniel's slot. Glenn Daniel is the winningest coach in the history of football in this state with 302 victories. So.
And came back as a volunteer coach in 1995 and is the defensive coordinator, and he speaks so highly of his offensive line. He was talking about some of his players. He said that, you know, they have to be smart players because we can't talk to them. You know, they're on the field the entire time. They play both offense and defense. First play of the afternoon for Luverne as they go from our right to our left. And on the option, it is kept by the quarterback Carter, and he has big yardage, and he breaks it outside. He's to the 35, and then he stepped out of bounds, it looks like. So I thought he might go, but he was knocked out of bounds, and a big gain as they do run out of the eye now, but they've just gone to the eye within the last 3 games, and that was more of the beer type offense.
Well, it gives you a chance to, you know, fake the belly play, which they'll do to the fullback, and then he's got the option to pitch. Obviously a great fake, but then they'll pick him back up again. That's Carter, and I'm told for the first time in 3 weeks he is really healthy, and he's really got his speed back, and I think he showed it there as a 5'11" senior was able to turn the corner. Did step out of bounds, but it's first down and a big starting play for Luverne.
So he stepped out of bounds at the 46-yard line. It is a first down, and play action. The pass is going to be underthrown as it was intended for Willis. Willis has made, we talked about him having a knack for being around the football. He has caught 38 passes as a receiver, and he also has intercepted 9 passes. So if the ball's in the air, he's going to get a hand on it.
And number 8, ironically enough, coming to this game also has 8 touchdowns. But let's credit Sean Abernathy, who read that play very well. He didn't take the fake, and he came up from his slot and just pounded Carter just as he was delivering the ball, and it caused it to come up short.
That is Willis, you saw just a moment ago. He is split out wide to the left. Ball on the far hash mark with a man in motion. And that is Pickens. They send in motion, and now rolling left and throwing across his body. And that ball is in and out of the hands of Willis. And that was a dangerous pass, Matt, because that was really susceptible to being intercepted.
Well, Jesse Kamenet almost picked that ball off, and he had about 60 yards of Legion Field turf in front of him, and this game would have been 6-0 Sandrock. But it's just a little wobble, throwing off your back foot. You do that, you're not going to get a lot on it, and you don't see a very good spiral there. And Kamenet overran it and almost allowed Willis to pick off the ball.
So it's 3rd down and 10. So after the first big play of the drive, they have stalled, and so they are looking for something here on the possession down with the backs in the eye. Take the option, and now they do run the veer, and running outside left is Carter, and he is going to be in the vicinity, but I do believe he's short of the first down. And nope, he does have it. So he got enough of yardage to get the first down. Let's look at it again.
You remember earlier when he got almost 20 yards on the first play from scrimmage. This is just a play to the other side. And boy, that's speed and also waiting on. Boy, nice downfield block by Rodney Lowery. Way to go. You love to see your backs and receivers getting out there and doing things. And watch Lowery. He's number 2 now. He's originally the pitch man, but when he knows Carter's going to keep the ball, he gets out front. Watch him come up there with a nice block. Gets him another 5 yards.
He actually made a couple of nice blocks on that particular running play. Now they give it off to the fullback, and he's going to break it and go all the way, and that is going to give Luverne the lead as Pat Campbell takes it in for the touchdown.
Well, we had a few Campbells last night, didn't we? We'll have another Campbell in the end zone. Pat Campbell just showed a burst of speed, and you know that's what happens, Jeff, as you well know, with an option offense. Boy, he's through that hole, and he is gone. Touchdown, Luverne, but as I was going to say, you go wide, you go wide, you go wide, and then suddenly your linebackers are inching out to try and get an extra step of speed on the corners. Boom, you go up the middle.
39-yard running play gives Luverne the lead with a PAT at 7-0. So they draw first blood, and let's look at it again.
All right. He is going to give it right in the belly, and it's a nice handoff, and they carry out the fake wide. The 22 is gone. Anybody let a glove on him?
No one touched him.
39 yards later, he's in the end zone, and the folks donning the red here are quite happy in the early moments of the 2A championship.
So Luverne jumps out in front. We said they lost the first game of the year to Off. They lost a couple of games later to Carroll, and those are the only losses they have this year. They finished the year ranked number 5 in the state, and they did snap a 55-game winning streak. You know, you knock off the defending state champs and a team that had won 55 in a row. What a boost for your momentum and your attitude heading into the championship game. You got to feel like you're walking on air.
But you can go both ways, you know. You can feel, oh, our season's made. We just beat the guys that had 55 in a row, or you can tune it up a notch, and obviously they did the latter.
Taken at the 4-yard line, and now an opportunity for Sand Rock to get something going. Eric Blanks carries it over the 20 out to the 22-yard line, so they'll go back to work offensively, trailing by the score of 7-0. We have 6:33 left in the first quarter.
Well, let's see what JACOWAY does here offensively. They kept it pretty close to the vest here on their opening possession. So let's see what the Wildcats do here in this battle of felines. Wildcats in white, Tigers in red.
McMicken up under center. He replaced his brother as quarterback. He stepped right in. His brother threw for over 4,000 yards in his career. Pump fake short. Nice pass. And it is caught. And he has about 8 yards, maybe 9. Making the reception was Eric Blanks.
Well, they'll go to the 5'11", 160-pound junior often. He has, when they go to the area, he has 37 catches on the year, and he has 4 touchdowns. We see number 1-5.
Sand Rock is the Area 13 champion. Got a look at McMicken directing traffic there a moment ago. A handoff is good for the first down on short yardage, second down and short. So they pick up the first down. I got a feeling that 7 points is not going to decide this football game. At least 7-0 is not going to decide it.
No, and Sand Rock makes your job pretty easy when they have 2 Abernathys in the backfield. Just hand off Abernathy left side, Abernathy right side. But they are not related, but Ty and Tad are. They are twins, both seniors.
On 1st and 10 from the 36, pump fake again, and he airs it out down the right sideline, and nobody home. It was a little bit overthrown. Again, that pass intended for Eric Blanks.
Blanks ran it out and up, and that's why he pump faked, and ball just got a little bit away from McMicken, and incomplete. Will bring up second down.
You know, a lot of people think that the only quarterback, or I should say the only college prospects, are at the 6A and the 5A level, but you come out and you see great talent at all levels, and that's why it's such a thrill to have the SuperSix played all in one place, because you get a chance to see them all. Out of the shotgun, the high snap, quick pass, intercepted. That's picked off by Lowry. Lowry turns upfield, and he is bumped out of bounds. Rodney Lowry picks it off. And so the turnover gives the ball to Luverne.
First thing that goes wrong, high snap. That throws you a little bit off your game. But then you also see a player barreling down on you. You overthrow your intended receiver, and there's Lowry. He's picked off. And if Abernathy, number 1, comes in your screen, he doesn't come over here and make that last-second effort to get him out of bounds. This game is not 7, it's 13 or 14 to nothing, but it still could happen.
And so they are knocking on the door again. They already lead 7-0. They have the ball at the Sand Rock 16. Handoff into the line, and that is Cecil Jackson, and he's still fighting and churning down to the 6 near the 5-yard line.
Jackson's actually the leading ball carrier on this football team. 870 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he was just another shuck and jive away from getting that one into the end zone.
They have lots of weapons. They have lots of people that can hurt you, that can beat you. Willis and Jones is the tight end, and they have Cecil Jackson and Rodney Lowry, and of course Carter. We've seen him in the open field, so they can really attack you. It is first down and goal from the 6-yard line. And on the keeper, it is to the 5 as Carter keeps it.
Tad Abernathy put a stop to that one. He read the play, fought off the fullback, and then went in there after Carter and got him, so he spoiled that play.
Luverne averages 23.4 points per ball game, giving up defensively 10.1, while Sandrock is a high-scoring team. They've averaged 31.5 points offensively. On 2nd and goal from the 5, once again, they hand it off up the middle, and that will be good for maybe 2 yards down to near the 3-yard line, and that again was Cecil Jackson.
Well, he just had the misfortune of running into the rear end of his own player, and then he twisted for a couple more yards, so we'll have 3rd and goal.
Luverne has had one of the most successful teams in the state over the last 4 years. In fact, they're 45-11 over the last 4 years, including those 12 wins this year, yet they do not have a state championship.
They're looking strong here early.
Man in motion. It is 3rd and goal, and now Carter in the open field turns up, goes to the 5, upended at the 2, and it looked to be Caldwell who made the stop defensively that kept him out of the end zone. So it's 4th down and 2 as we look at him just making something out of this play.
Yeah, he gets pursued early, then bails out of the pocket. And it was just nothing there because the play was well defended in the secondary. And then when he decided to bail and go, he knocked him down at the 2. So we'll have a left-footed field goal attempt.
Sherman Samples will nail it. And so they are on the board again. And Luverne has stretched their lead out now to 10-0 on the field goal. And when you get that close, you want to come away with points. And that's exactly what they elected to do. So 10-0, and they got those 3 directly off the interception.
Well, so far in this game, and believe me, it is very, very early, Luverne is winning in virtually every possible statistic, most notably the score, 10-0, but they're also leading in turnovers and then points off turnovers because they didn't waste that particular interception by Rodney Lowry. They turn it into 3 points, and they lead it 10-0. But as you mentioned, Sandrock is averaging 31.5 points per game. I don't think that their scoring is going to be totally absent here today, Legion.
And you know, they're chomping on the bit to get back there and try to get on the board. There's a timeout on the field, and we'll take 1, 2. It's Luverne 10, Sandrock nothing. Jeff Lloyd and Matt Coulter here from Legion Field. This is the 2A state championship ball game. Right now it is Luverne leading by the score of 10-0. Sandrock trying to get something going here.
There's Sherman Samples, who has 4 points. Don't see many left-footed kickers. Don't see many linemen that kick. You do in high school.
Yeah, that's an odd number for a place kicker, isn't it?
It sure is. But being 6'2" and 225 is kind of odd for a kicker, too.
High end-over-end kick will be taken at the 5-yard line. And this is Tad Abernathy, and Abernathy goes down. And coming up to make the stop on him was Oliver. Well, you got to be in great shape to be able to play both ways. Luverne has done it on the ground, 87 yards so far. Sandrock has just the 32 yards, but they have the interception that gave the ball back to Luverne.
It's a pretty crucial situation here for the Wildcats. They need to get something going. Maybe they don't have to have points. That would certainly be of great benefit, but they need to move the football and get back in the field position more.
Running out of the eye, McMicken under center. Toss, sweep, turning back upfield. Abernathy, that's Tad, and he is not going to get much. Ty Abernathy, rather, was the man on the pitch. And we'll give him one. Second down and 9. Credit this Luverne defense. They have played very well so far in the early going. They have forced a turnover with the interception by Rodney Lowry.
They only average giving up about 10 per game. That's points.
Again, working out of the eye. And a handoff again to Ty Abernathy, and the defense swarms on him once again. They're finding tough running room up the middle right now, Matt.
Well, they really are. And again, it's number 34. Take a look at Sherrod Wood, as he's about the 4th or 5th guy to hit Abernathy on. Credit Abernathy for getting 2 or 3 out of this, because he stood up there at the line of scrimmage by McGee. And he spins off, but then there you see the all-familiar number 3-4 coming in there to polish him off. And once again, Sandrock is faced with a 3rd and long situation, and we'll see if McMicken goes to the air.
We have 3 minutes, 35 seconds left in the first period. On 3rd down, the yard marker to make is the 27, and he does have that plus some as he's out over the 30. And that's the tight end, John Foster, and he's one of their favorite receivers.
Well, you got to credit the backfield there, because they picked up the blitz perfectly, because Gerard Wood is coming in from the linebacker slot, but he is picked up, I believe, by one of the Abernathys. Yeah, indeed, that's Sean, and a nice pass. And I see why they go to Foster a lot. You mentioned earlier, 6'3", 245. That is a big senior tight end, and that was just a very well executed play, and one of the reasons why we see that McMicken threw for almost 2,000 yards this year.
Big first down on that play in this particular situation to keep this drive alive. Stop play for a moment. Now we resume. McMicken up under center. He has a lone running back. He will throw. Chase out of the pocket, rolling right, gets it away, but it's incomplete. Intended for Jesse Camenet. And it brings up 2nd down and 10.
Well, watch number 51. I love the name, Bobo Lowry. He is forced out of the pocket initially by Stowe, but then you're going to see 51 coming out of nowhere, and he makes the errant pass in the direction of Camenet.
And that's why he rushed that throw. He knew that he was about to get hit, and he wanted to get rid of it rather than take a sack. 2nd down and 10 from the 33 of Sandrock. They've not yet got out of their territory. And a running play for maybe 1 or 2. Credit the tackle there to Justin Bowen. Ball carrier again is Ty Abernathy. He's had a tough day. He's picking up yardage, but it's tough yardage.
Well, I know that Russell JACOWAY does not like continuing to get these 3rd and long situations, but once again, he is faced with it again. But he's got McMicken. Last time he dropped back and threw to his tight end Foster. Let's see if he looks back in the direction of 91 again.
It's 3rd down and 8. The yard marker to make is the 43. The up man is Sean Abernathy, and they will pass, and he is under a heavy rush. Screen pass out front by Abernathy. Sean will go to the 40 and is not going to be enough for the first down. He needed to get to the 43, and they'll have to punt the football.
Now, it's all Judson Bowen's fault if you're a Sandrock, because he's the one that upsets the apple cart, if you will, while I throw about 8 cliches in here at once. Abernathy on the receiving end there, 66. Looks like the pursuit of Nitschke, huh?
Locked him up pretty well. And we have an official's timeout. We'll look at Sean Abernathy, and there's a little frustration right now for Sandrock as they find themselves trailing by the score of 10-0. We'll be back in just a moment. Down 3 to go in this 2A championship game, and that tells the story. Time of possession 8:44. Time of possession for Luverne, and they lead it 10-0.
And they're giving the ball back to the guys in red, too.
I beg your pardon, it's the other way around. Actually, Luverne has not had the ball that much because they have scored rapidly when they've had it. Actually, Sandrock has had the majority of the football, but has not been able to do anything with it.
Well, they ate up about 7 minutes on the, well, not 7, closer to 6 minutes in their very first possession.
It is 4th down and 3, and it's blocked. It is picked up and loose still, and it's finally recovered at the 29-yard line. And it belongs to Luverne, and they are just having everything go their way here in the early going. It looked like, we get a look at it, a low snap. Well, and that's Terry McGee who blocked it.
And I'm not sure who came up with it in the end, but I know one thing, Luverne has the football, and nothing is going Sandrock's way, and all of the bounces are going in the direction of the Tigers. See who finally ends up with it. That looks like Willis, who got a paw on it, but it may have been Stowe, young man, Randall Stowe.
Regardless of what would have happened, it still was going to be Luverne football because of the 4th down situation. But it is going to give them great field position with the ball at the 28-yard line of Sandrock. And Sandrock right now is just kind of trying to get their balance again. They're on the ropes.
Well, they need to come up with a big defensive stop, hold them to 3 downs and a possible field goal, or better yet, make Luverne cough the football.
Little movement there, and that's our first flag of the afternoon as Cecil Jackson came out of the eye a little prematurely.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that we didn't have Mike Ledford jumping off sides. It's proceeding.
So it's going to bring up a 1st down at 15.
Foul. False start on the offense. Still 1st down.
Pushes the ball back to the 33-yard line. So that helps Sandrock a little bit.
They got a break there, huh?
Up under center is KEON Carter. Sends a man in motion. Fakes the handoff into the line, runs the veer, and now looking for the pitch man. He finds it. This is Lowry as he turns upfield, and they get a lot of yardage back. They gain about 9 yards on that play, and it'll be 2nd down and around, we'll say 5 or so.
KEON Carter or Terry Davis, boy, does he run the option perfectly here. The guy that's got the pitch man, he fakes Bowen out and then goes back to his guy, Lowry. He's already got a pick here tonight, this afternoon, I should say.
You know, he was looking all along. You could see him directing traffic. He was saying, come on up, and he gave him the toss. And they gained additional yardage on the play.
Young and old.
We have a timeout on the field, and there's your score. We'll be back in just a moment. Those are some happy people, at least for the moment. Or I should say they wish they were happy. That was the Sandrock crowd, and they are trailing 10-0. It is 2nd down and 4 coming up for Luverne. And a fake of the bootleg and the pass. Broken up. Nice defensive play. That was broken up by Tad Abernathy. Abernathy reached back to knock that ball away. And so it's now 3rd down and 4. And what's happening is what you said Sandrock needed to do, and that's come up strong defensively on this series.
I hadn't seen Carter make many mistakes, but again, he's made 2 here throwing off his back foot, and it is almost picked off by one of the Abernathy clan. And a big 3rd down situation for Sandrock. You don't want to give up a first. You don't want to give up points here. You're down 10-0, and it's already into the 2nd quarter. Very early, I might add.
No completion so far for Luverne, although they do lead it. Here's a toss to the right side. They need 4 yards. They get it. They get down to the 12 as the pitch went to Rodney Lowry. They've been successful keeping it on the ground. They have yet completed a pass.
And watch the guard pull it. That's Bobo Lowry, and he throws a block that gets him downfield. And I'll tell you what, Rodney Lowry deals out a little punishment of his own. Takes blanks down there.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 11. Well, we've seen a lot of these throughout the Super Six where you have just about a yard to go before you could get the 1st down and still have a yard to work with for a fresh set of downs. Here's another pass play. Carter is going to be wide open to run it in. He goes barreling into the end zone, and he has Another touchdown. They sent everybody left. He pulled it down and went right.
And Carter is getting up a little banged up, and that is not good because he's been injured the past couple of weeks. But you see he's looking left, as you mentioned, Jeff, the whole way. This looks designed. And certainly he has the option to throw if somebody's wide open. But when you got 10 yards of uninhabited real estate, terra incognito, if you will,
and he is
immediately, yeah, I think he's favoring the, looks like the right ankle. We will check on him immediately.
The PAT makes it 17-0, and Luverne has jumped out in front. We'll look at it again, see if we can pick up where he may have injured the ankle or the foot.
Pickett goes in motion to the left, and you see some nice blocking. Lowery, as they just set it up. Send everybody one way, he runs the other.
He did not avoid contact either, did he? He went head to head. He wanted to make some contact.
Look from the end zone camera, just the great blocking up front for the guys in the red jerseys, and he's going to take a hit. Let's see if we can tell what happened to him. I really don't see.
Didn't see where he got stepped on or fallen on or turned it, but he is.
His hiney took a couple of mean slaps, but I don't think that's going to get you up limping.
He is heavily taped, so you can see the way his shoe was taped. And it's 17-0, and that crew right there is trying to solve the scenario that has come their way so far with 10:45 to play. Carter beating you with his leg, not so much with his arm. He has not completed a pass yet.
He has 48 yards on the ground.
Heavily taped and bandaged, as we had told you earlier. 17-0, and I just cannot believe that San Roque is going to let that continue. You got to feel that they're going to break out of this somewhere along the way offensively.
Well, these guys didn't get to the 2A championship by laying over, and they're not about to do it here. They do need to make something happen here. These games can get out of control. It's not often.
And in the end zone, Caminette will not be able to run it out, so they'll start on the 20-yard line. They've not had good field position the entire afternoon.
No, and now turnovers, the blocked punt and the interception have led to 10 points, and turnovers, you know, like missing the 3-footers. You shake your head because you know they'll beat you faster than anything. Turnovers and mistakes on special teams.
Lucas McMicken comes out to try to get his club started. Backs in the I formation from the 20. They hand it off to the tailback, and that's good for maybe 2. They're very conservative on first down, just trying to get some running room, and that is Ty Abernathy.
Been running a lot between the tackles. I think you got to get Luverne a little bit wider. You got to loosen them up. You got to let McMicken drop back in the pocket. And of course, the defense sometimes can dictate what you're able to do. And the rush may be such that they can't throw the football. But this guy's thrown for 2,000 yards almost. Let him air it out like he was going to attempt there.
There was a pass play, but it's halted because of the penalty. The marker down on the field.
Procedure.
So they're shooting themselves in the foot again.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Still second down.
So it brings up second down and 14.
You'd never know they're up 17-0, would you?
No, and you wouldn't know that this is a state championship game. They look the same all the time. I mean, these coaches, they never take anything for granted, do they? Ball from the 16-yard line. McMicken, deep drop, screen pass, set it up nicely, but it's dropped, incomplete. That was Sean Abernathy, the intended receiver, and he had a lot of running room because Luverne had sent a lot of people deep on the penetration. Watch it.
They did. This is perfectly set up. He's just got so many people coming at him that he just can't quite get the football to him. Abernathy was on the ground and they had to stand back up, but they sent 8 red-clad jerseys on that particular blitz. They have really got San Roque guessing on offense.
It is 3rd and 14. They need to get to the 30 to pick up a first down. And out of the shotgun, McMicken looking and throwing. It is picked off, and that's going to be run back to the 10, bouncing off a tackle. 5, touchdown. And with the interception, it was McGee, Terry McGee, and that's the second interception of the afternoon that has led to points for Luverne, and they now have racked up 23 unanswered points.
Well, he's looking for his tight end Foster, and he just throws too wide. McGee with a pretty nice little spin move down there at the 10-yard line, and he gets into the end zone.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of having these guys who play both ways, because, you know, on an interception like that, the guys who are on defense, also probably on the offensive line, they're used to doing a little blocking, and in this case, McGee is a wide receiver also. He's used to doing a little running. Well, that's the story in this football game. Turnovers and a blocked punt, 2 interceptions. And they're going to look like they may go for 2 on this play.
Well, we've got an injured player over there, and it may be the young man for Sand Rock that McGee hit and then twisted around.
Yeah, that is Sean Abernathy.
That is.
So Abernathy is injured at this time, and he's going to try to shake it off. Starting to brighten a little bit. Sun trying to shine here.
What is that strange sphere? I think Abernathy's probably, yeah, he's banged up, but he's also disgusted. Felt like he should have brought McGee down there at the 10-yard line.
They will settle for the PAT, the point after, rather than going for the 2. They were waiting for them to clear off the injured players as they huddled around. And they attempt to make it 24-0. And Samples will kick. Now, not enough men on the field. That would be a penalty.
If he missed it.
And he missed it. I didn't see a flag, but tell you what, Sand Rock was sending somebody out on the field, because when Abernathy had gone off, they didn't have enough people on, and I'm surprised there wasn't a flag thrown.
Well, they just flat missed it. And we have a bird's eye view. Here's the pick. McMicken, pretty good protection. It breaks down to the very end. Watch him. He steps up in the pocket, short arms it though. He kind of short arms the throw. And there's McGee with the pick. Abernathy juked out there at the 10. The spin, McGee into the end zone, touchdown. And Luverne owns this game. We're not even midway of the second quarter yet. It's 23-0. But as we were saying during the point after, there was a Sand Rock player literally in the backfield, technically. They're certainly on the Luverne side of the football, running onto the field as they're snapping it, holding and kicking it. And obviously, if they'd seen that, they would have taken the penalty so they get a second shot at it.
And you know, the guy right there who you see on the screen, who is the place kicker, Sherman Samples, is a left-footed kicker, and that guy would have been coming into his line of sight. I'm not saying that's why he missed the field goal, but or the extra point, but hey, you know, that's why they have rules. Into the end zone. This guy has got a pretty good foot. He kicks it all the way into the end zone, and once again, Sand Rock will start at their 20-yard line.
Well, and this may be the understatement of the high school SuperSix championship series, but Sand Rock's got to get something going here. And I think you got to put the ball in McMicken's hand. You got to put him back in the pocket. You got to start having him look for Abernathy and blanks. Throw the football around. See if you can't upset the Luverne defense, because they have absolutely owned the Wildcats here in the first 15 minutes, 14.5.
And they've been pretty conservative on first down, running, you know, up the middle. Let's see what they do this time around. Ball at the 20-yard line. 9:35 remaining here in the first half. It is 23-0.
We have a stoppage in play, and I don't know why.
Trying to sort something out here. The man in the white hat is Richard Manley, is from Northeast Alabama. And the officials, the umpires, Keith Robertson. Linesmen are Gary Evans. Line judge is Gary Quarles. Pass play, that is caught, and that is pretty close to a first down. That was caught by Eric Blanks. He needed to get out to the 30, and he is going to be perhaps a little bit short.
Blanks meets McGee, and I'm not sure who ends up on the tough end of this one. No, actually, that was Lowery that delivered the blow. Blanks, the tight end, says, I'll have nothing of that. I'm popping right back up, even if I don't know which direction my sideline is.
Short of the first down, but it is a free play here on 2nd and about 2 inches. Let's see how they play it. They're going to pass, and it's complete. And a flag goes down. The reception made by Eric Blanks. We were giving you the officials a moment ago. The back judge is Jay Johnsey.
Wow, we've got an offensive pass interference on Blanks. That's something you rarely see.
And not happy about it is Russell JACOWAY. Not happy at all. This club's just starting to put together a little bit of a drive, and then again something bad happens.
Offensive pass interference. Previous spot foul. Loss of down. 3rd down.
Huge play.
Well, I don't know how he had time, and I'm not questioning their call. It was just such a quick slant in.
Well, there you get a look at the fact that Sandrock has been in this situation before, and they are capable of coming from behind.
Well, and I like their chances if they do indeed. Well, they got to hold off on the offensive pass interference, but to come back, throw the quick ends, get the ball in the air, throw Luverne off.
From the 15, they need to get to the 30. McMicken passes. It is caught. Tad Abernathy with the reception, but shy of the first down. And it brings up 4th down and 2.5.
Good protection. Man's open over the middle. He drills it in there. And Abernathy comes up about the down mark on the far sideline, Jeff, I believe is wrong.
Yeah, it said 4th, and it is 3rd down, so we'll go with.
Now they're punting, so who's right here? Oh, loss of down on the offensive pass.
It was loss of down, so for the first time today, I'm wrong again. Here is a punt and the run back to the 47-yard line. That was what happened. It was the loss of down, and so it moved it to 4th down. The clock operator was behind. The guy down on the sidelines was up to snuff.
Well, we've got an official timeout here.
So Sandrock had a drive going, but it got stalled because of the offensive pass interference, which not only cost them the first down, but it cost them a loss of down in yardage and cost them the football because they had to punt it away. So they have been plagued by penalties and by turnovers. And as you see, 7:49 left in this first half. And we'll take a break. Back to Legion Field after this. 23-0 your score. Luverne has dominated this football game, with the exception of perhaps time of possession, because they have scored defensively. And Luverne is not in any hurry really to put it in the air, I don't imagine. And going down hard was KEON Carter. Big defensive play, and that is, I believe, the first sack of the football game.
Well, he pulls the ball out of the belly of Jackson, and then take what Foster just said. I'll have none of this. Foster 245 pounds. Carter at about 180.
That is
slung down for the loss.
That is indeed the first sack of the football game, as you see it up on your screen. They send a man in motion. That is Pickett. They keep it on the ground. They are at midfield. That's a pickup of only about a yard.
Well, they're back around the original line of scrimmage now.
And so the line to make is just shy of the 40-yard line, in between the 40 and the 41. Luverne on 3rd down and 10. Let's see if they go to the air here. Ian Carter up under center is going to use a timeout. That will be the first timeout used by either club here in the first half. We have 6 minutes, 39 seconds remaining, and Luverne leads it by the score of 23-0. And we will return to Legion Field after we take this timeout. Yes, sir. The SuperSix from Legion Field, and this is just one of 6 games played here. And again, this is the second year that they've had all 6 of the classes played in one location. And we had talked earlier, Matt, about how nice that is for not only the fans but for the media, because they get a chance to see a whole variety of different players. And you know, you got to realize, as we talked about, that there are still Division I quality athletes that play at 1A and 2A and so on and so forth.
And it's also good for college prospects, coaches. They can all come here and watch it. They just parade them through in front of them.
On 3rd and 10, pass play is incomplete, and the flag will go down on the pass interference. That was intended for Fernaldo Pickett, and so that will give them a first down.
Well, you got to call it. Shane Fletcher was just there, and he was there way too early. And you'll watch it here on the replay. Pretty good bullet here thrown by Carter. But you'll see from our ACN camera that he was there way too early. And you got to call it. And it's a first down. And it's another break for Luverne.
Defensive pass interference.
And right now,
first down.
Sandrock is just unraveling. You know, and I know this is going to sound odd, but they've really had 4 really major mistakes. They had the offensive pass interference just a moment ago. They've had the 2 picks, and they've had the block punt. And I know this sounds odd, but otherwise they'd be in this, Jeff.
A running play out to the 30-yard line. You're right. It's you know, like being eaten to death by a moth. You know, it's not anything that, you know, they have moved the football at times, but then, as we said, shot themselves in the foot and continue to make mistakes that keep the ball in the hands of Luverne.
Campbell, number 22, had the 39-yard scamper for a touchdown that kind of started the house of cards of falling for the Wildcats.
2nd down and 5. Carter with his man in motion. Rolls out left. He's got a couple of people, and he throws back right. That's a pretty nice catch by CECIL Jackson, and Jackson is going to get himself a first down. That is a very nice catch, as he had to reach back and get it.
Yeah, he did, and then he had a little downfield blocking. A lot of it he did on his own, but at the very end of this play, pardon my pun, but Shannon King is going to crown Mr. Jackson. Watch number 74 coming here at the very end, and he kind of lays him out. Of course, Luke Fletcher put on him, kind of started it. That's Shane King, pardon me. And Shane, they Shane and Shaned him.
At the 25-yard line, it is 1st and 10 for Luverne. The Tigers dominating this football game. And now swing pass out. It's caught by Lowery. Now the open field running, and he's going to make some good out of it. He's got a man to beat. Cuts back inside. Breaks a tackle. Flags fly all over the place, and he's down at the 9-yard line.
Rodney Lowery. Need you say more? The junior, the 5'10", 160-pounder, makes this all. Well, we should first note that Carter did a heck of a job just getting rid of the football. But then there's a sidestep, run, sidestep, run. You're going to see this pattern throughout. And then in about 10 yards, you're going to see a big face mask here. And I believe it's Ryan Robertson.
Against the defense. Penalty to the end of the run.
That ball looked like it bounced.
That
ball looked like it bounced. Now, if they call that a lateral, then that's one thing. But if it's a forward pass, that's incomplete.
Well, I think it very easily could have been a lateral.
Maybe the truck can show that to us again, and we can look at it one more time.
Yeah, timeout, Luverne.
We do have a timeout called by the Tigers.
It looked as though the ball did hit the ground, but I'm not so certain that it wasn't a lateral, so that he was able to pick it up.
Get a chance to look at it.
He's killing him.
This will be the best angle to tell whether or not it's a forward pass or not.
All right.
That looks forward to me.
Yeah.
Now, from that angle, we can't tell whether or not it's short op, but then the other angle on the replay we could, and it darn near looked from our angle that it did bounce. So that's a play that But Luverne gets a big break on, plus the penalty tacked on to it, and it moves it all the way down inside the 5-yard line.
We heard about Willis and we heard about Buck Jones, but so far it's been Rodney Lowery.
And it's 29-0 with the extra point about to come off the foot of Sample as he missed one earlier. Extra point try this time is good, and we have a 30-0 football game.
From our end zone camera, high atop Legion Field, belly fake, then the pitch. Abernathy just takes Caminette into the end zone for the touchdown, and we got a blowout going. You remember earlier, Lowery had a pick to set up the touchdown. Had several nice runs, and he's got another touchdown.
Lowery in 5 carries has 44 yards. And of course the 1 touchdown.
Well, and you know, we saw game count at 38 degrees. It's a blustery day here in Legion Field, but I tell you, it's a lot colder on the east side than it is in the west right now.
The ensuing kickoff. And that's going to sail to the 1-yard line, and a run back by Caminette. Angles to the outside and steps out of bounds at the 18. And there was some late hits over there, and let's hope this doesn't get too ugly over there on the sideline.
And that huge roar you heard, the fact that Sandrock Wildcat fans, yeah, that's a late hit. He's out of bounds. And I'm sure DeCarlos Walters will receive instruction on that particular hit when he gets over the side.
You know, something like that might be something. We hear the call here.
Foul. Personal foul against the Red.
We're going to look at the rushing yards. Luverne just dominating, 144 yards to 39 for Sandrock. And a lot of times you don't want to wake up a sleeping giant, and you know, a lot of times a personal foul like that could wake up a team. They kind of got fired up over there on the sideline after that play. Let's see if they can come back.
Absolutely.
Deep drop, screen pass out, dropped by Sean Abernathy, and that ball was catchable. It was right in his hand.
It's in the breadbasket. Let's call it as it is, really, Jeff. You know, yeah, it's a little cold, but this guy makes that catch 99 times out of 100. He's a senior, 6'2", 185 pounds, and he's as frustrated as anyone because he had probably 20 yards easy before he saw another guy in a red jersey.
McMigan has completed 5 out of 11. 2 of those have been intercepted, but he's had some drop passes also, just like that one. 2nd and 10. The pitch running right side. Ty Abernathy cuts back inside, and he picks up about 5 yards on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and roughly 5 yards coming up, and a big possession down for Sandrock. They can't afford to punt this football right now.
No, you don't want to go in the half down 30-0. So you'd like to get some kind of points out of this. And you know, you've seen flares, you've seen a little flash here, a dash here, that this offense can get something going, but it's constantly kind of stepping in a bucket and something happens. Either it's a penalty or a drop pass. Big possession situation here, Jeff.
Short drop, looks left, puts it up in the air, and that is going to be caught. That's a first down, and that might be the play that gets them rolling. It was caught by Tad Abernathy, and now the crowd for Sandrock starting to get into this ball game. You know, they may have bitten off too much here by getting down 30-0, but they're going to give it every effort they can to get back in the game.
Well, way to go, Tad. Just great outstretched hands, great vision, and oddly enough, he toasted Rodney Lowery, and that hadn't happened here because that young man, number 2 in red, has had a wonderful game for Luverne.
You know, they say you can't outrun the football or outrun the ball, but it looked like he did. He had to run as hard as he could with his hands outstretched as far as he could to get the catch, and now they put it on the ground and they pick up about 4 more yards. So they're starting to put things together a little bit. Now they can just keep from doing something that's going to work against themselves, and they've been their own worst enemy. Although you know, you got to credit Luverne for making the plays.
Yep.
You know, it's never all one or the other. No team is ever as good as they look or as bad as they look. There's always some medium in there.
That's like television and radio ratings, I always say.
From the 29-yard line, 2nd down and 8. McMicken hands off to the tailback, crashing to the 27-yard line, only 2 yards, as it was again Ty Abernathy with the carry.
Heath Lowry got the jump, number 5 in red, and he made the hit in the backfield, but then Abernathy twisted away and got him close. Another 3rd and 4, maybe short 5.
They've had a ton of 3rd down plays come up in this football game. Tight end sets up right. Give it off to Abernathy. He cuts back left. He is not going to have enough. Well, maybe. Look at that. He carries it down inside the 20, and he's got himself a 1st down. And Abernathy made that. He willed his way for a 1st down.
Well, I was going to be critical of the young man because he had a lot of room running, go outside there, but no, he takes a look, goes back inside. He has hit once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and he is just, he's taking those big old 5'7", 145-pound legs. How can they be big, man?
It looked like rugby there for a second, didn't it?
It was a scrum. He just kept churning away. He looks bigger than 5'7", 145. He certainly runs bigger than that.
Did not pick up the 1st down. It is 4th down and a little less than a yard. They're going to go for it, and on the keeper, McMicken has the 1st down as he carries it down to the 20-yard line. A minute 20 as you see it on the clock left, and they would love to get some type of score, preferably a touchdown, before they go to the locker room.
You just go off the left flank of your center. And once he got beyond the initial hit, he was going for more yardage, and fortunately Deshaun McGee was there for Luverne.
This is by far the best drive of the football game by Sandrock, and it came after a kickoff return and then a personal foul. And now wide open but overthrown. Pass was intended for Cameron. And it stops the clock with 57 seconds to play in the half.
McMicken had a little bit more time. He could have waited for Cameron to get almost into the end zone and then throw it. He just got a little anxious.
They're at the red zone, anywhere from the 20 in, and that is the first time they've been in that position. Uncharted territory for this football game for Sandrock, a team that is 12-1, but trailing 30-0. Pitch to the right side. This is Abernathy, and he will fight, but will lose this battle as he's dropped back to the 29-yard line. There's the man who came up and made the stop on him. That is Pickett.
Well, you run wide. Sometimes you get the wide side and you get the real estate, and sometimes you don't. That's Wood again, too. Boy, you're right. Pickett came in there and polished him off.
Wood, of course, slowing him down. Pickett finishing him off. Gang tackling, and now they'll have to work out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 17. Well, they don't have to, but they will. McMicken looking, scrambling, throws. It's batted down. Good defensive play. Very nice play by Deshaun McGee, and he's come up on this series with a couple of big plays defensively.
Well, I'm not sure why they didn't call timeout either. I mean, you got 9 seconds left now, and you can call timeout and talk to McMicken and design a play. That one's almost picked off there, too. So Luverne defense is very quick on the corners.
They have
making problems.
They have 2 timeouts remaining in the half, and you can't, put them in the bank. They do not draw interest.
Can't take them with you.
And again, out of the shotgun, this is 4th down and 17 with 9 seconds on the clock. McMicken looking. He has lots of time, and he throws, and it is incomplete. Pass intended for Tad Abernathy, and it's turned over on downs with 3 seconds remaining. And Luverne is going to go to the locker room with a 30-0 lead. And he had lots of time.
I don't know the breaks Luverne's been making for themselves and getting. Here's a replay.
3 red shirts back there. Somebody had to be open.
Bowen made a nice play, and he's dropping all the way back from the line. They're going to sit on it here.
Keon Carter will take a knee. And that's the half. Well, this has been a little bit different type of ball game than we expected it to be, with the 4th-ranked and 5th-ranked teams squaring off for the state championship. Turnovers, penalties, and just some bad luck on the part of Sandrock has dug themselves a hole. They are trailing Luverne by the score of 30-0. We'll return to Legion Field in just a moment. Back here at intermission, it's 30-0. 30-0, and that's a big surprise. You would have thought a much closer ball game with the number 4 and 5 ranked teams playing for the state championship, but it's been dominated by Luverne so far, and that's a little bit surprising, but you have to credit Luverne because they've taken advantage of everything that's come their way.
They really have. They've taken advantage of the block punt. They've taken advantage of the interceptions. Their defense has even taken one particular interception in for a score. Let's take a look at some of the highlights, and they're going to be all the guys in red. The Luverne Tigers are really dominating this football game. Here's the first score just about midway into the second quarter. That's Pat Campbell. Nobody laid a glove on him, Mr. Lloyd. He goes 39 yards into the end zone for the touchdown, and the first half route, and perhaps the entire game route, was on. Here from our upper level in the end zone, the fake to Lowry, and watch Carter, quick feet. He just bails out. They sent everybody to one side. He'll take a pretty good lick, but he'll get into the end zone. He's got the touchdown there. And later on, Rodney Lowry, who had an interception, he takes the pitch, and he will come wide as we go wide, and he powers through Caminette into the end zone. And at half, Jeff Lloyd, we've got kind of a blowout going here. The Tigers leading the Wildcats in this battle of felines. It's 30-0.
Well, Sandrock has come back from big deficits before, but not against a team of this caliber. Let's take a look at the stats in this first half. That's going to tell the tape. And right now, really, if you look at time of possession, Sandrock looks like they should be winning this football game. But really, the key is the fact that they have scored off the defense.
Well, turnovers, 2 Sandrock, none for Luverne. The block punt. Time of possession is really not of consequence if you're scoring real fast, and that's exactly what the Tigers of Luverne are doing. And even in total yards, you see they're pretty even there, but turnovers, mistakes, and also look down and see if we can find, I don't see them, penalties. There they are, 40 yards for Sandrock. And at such ill-advised times as well, and just 2 penalties for 19 yards for the Tigers of Luverne. There you have it, 30-0 at the half. 2A championship. I'm with you. You got the number 4 and number 5 teams going at each other statistically. They look pretty even. This should be a lot closer. Maybe it will in the second half, but to be quite honest with you, Jeff Lloyd, I have my doubts.
Sandrock has shown some signs of trying to come back and get back in this ball game. The defense is going to have to stand tall, try to shut them down the second half and get the offense going. Will they do it? We'll find out. Stick around. We'll continue with the second half action here from Legion Field on ACN Sports. Back at Legion Field, 30-0. You see the score there, and as we come back for the start of the second half, Sandrock spent a lot of time in the locker room, and they did not get out here until really the clock had ticked down to 0 to start the second half. They got a chance to run a couple of wind sprints in the end zone. They had a lot of talking to do in the locker room at intermission, Matt, and they have a lot of work to do in the second half. You see the kickoff. And not only do they lead 30-0, but Luverne gets the ball to start the second half. And this is their offense, and they have not been on the field all that much. Only 7 minutes and 35 seconds in the first half, their time of possession. Keon Carter, of course, is the quarterback, and this is the defense that tries to stop them.
A pair of Abernathy's there, and then Shane Fletcher and Eric Blanks. You'll hear their names called a lot when the white team's on defense. Red team has the ball, though, and a 30-0 lead.
So they will try to play a second half flawless so that they can hang on and win a state championship. And they run the ball to Cecil Jackson. And Jackson blows over the right side of the line out over the 40. And that's nearly a 6-yard pickup.
Well, it may sound odd. 11:38 remaining in the third period, but Luverne is going to be very clock conscious already. They are going to want to run the football. They are going to want to shorten this game. You don't want to give the Wildcats as much time of possession as they had in the first half. Keep the ball, run the clock.
Carter up under center, has a man in motion, and as you say, they'll probably keep it on the ground. They do, and they give it to Jackson. He has a first down. That's one way of controlling the football game. Just eat up yardage, 5-6 yards at a time.
Yeah, but if you keep making all the first downs like he's going to do here, they do stop it at least momentarily to move the chains. They've got to do that. But, they're just owning the line of scrimmage. They're winning the war down in the trenches, and this thing could get even uglier, Jeff.
You know, you made a good point earlier. They had snapped, we're talking about Luverne, had stopped the 55-game winning streak of Clay County, and they could have just had a letdown after that, but they have used that to build on, and they come out looking just outstanding in this game this afternoon, leading 30-0. Gain of 1.
Butch Norman said, yeah, we've got a great quarterback. We've got Carter. We've got Buck Jones, and we've got Mel Willis. But it's the other guys like Bobo Lowry and some of the Rodney Lowry and those guys that have been really helping us win football games. And they are as dominating on both sides of the football and in special teams as any team I've seen thus far in the Super Six.
That's exactly correct. And this is one of the most lopsided games that we've seen. And off again, tailback, and that's Rodney Lowry. And Lowry has had himself a big day. He has 2 touchdowns, one on a interception return and one that he caught a pass on.
It's a good situation for Sandrock now, though. You've got him in a 3rd and long situation. Stop him, get good field position, score in a hurry, and it's not beyond the realm of possibilities that the Wildcats could turn this thing around.
Said Lowry scored on a pass. It was actually a rushing play that he scored one of his touchdowns on. It is 3rd down and 5. And they'll put the ball in the air. Wide open. Reaching back and making the catch is Pickett. Pickett goes down at the 20-yard line, and that is a first down. He was all alone.
Well, you say Pickett, that's kind of what they did. They crossed an outside receiver who cuts back, and then here going inside out is Pickett, and you're right, he is out alone early for practice. And then he is finally brought down by Jesse Caminit, but not before they pick up a first down all the way down to the 20-yard line. And Luverne is just methodically and systematically just pulling Sandrock apart.
Saw in the middle of that huddle, big number 85, that's Buck Jones, and we've not called his name much this afternoon, but they haven't had the ball all that much on offense because it's basically been in the hands of Sandrock. And it's in the hands now of Lowry, who is stacked up right at the 20. Riding through to make the tackle was Shane King.
King with a nice read there. The 6'2", 265-pound senior. Read it and dropped him for about a half-yard gain.
The Etowah team is watching this game, and now they are sitting up in the stands. They play the game after this one, and we were questioning about whether or not it was good to sit out in the cold and watch the football game with yet a half to be played before you go out and suit up. Rolling out right, there's a pass play again wide open. That's going to be down to the 1-yard line, and making the reception was Mel Willis, who came into this game with 38 passes on the season. Another first down, and it'll be goal to go from the 1.
Remember the scissors play they ran a minute ago, and they threw it to Pickett. Well, this time they just go the other way, and look how wide open 8 is. Willis. And then he makes a nice move after he catches the football, and that's what those Division I coaches are looking for. A lot of guys can catch it, but watch what he does after the football. Well, you're not going to get much past Foster, the big tight end / defensive end, came over to make the stop, but he almost got him in the end zone.
Lowry lines up to dot the I on 1st and goal from the 1. Carter has a touchdown. He's going to keep it this time, and fighting, bending back, and he has another touchdown. And that might be the knockout blow if it hadn't already been delivered. 36-0. They had won the coin toss, deferred to the second half, built a 30-point lead, score in the opening drive of the second half.
Bobo Lowry started blocking on the tackle, then started blocking on the defensive end. Then he took on a linebacker, and at about that time, KEON Carter finally got through for his second touchdown. As, speaking of through, the uprights it goes. Or perhaps not.
You'll look at the quarterback sneak again.
Touchdown. Big Red.
37-0 as the extra point was good. 7:43 remaining. Pretty good time-consuming drive, and that's what they wanted to do. Eat up some clock and get a score, so they accomplished both their goals.
Well, Coach JACOWAY, we feel for you. You just run up against a team that is clicking on every, not 8 cylinders. They're a Jaguar. They got 12. You know, they're clicking on all cylinders. And you can throw as many cliches out there as you want. Luverne is just a better football team right now, but Sandrock's, this is when you can't get your dauber down. You got to play for pride, and you better believe they are.
And you play for the experience of having been in the state tournament, the state finals, so that it may carry over to some of your underclassmen, and they know what it's like to be here, to go through this a second time. Sandrock is in their 11th playoff, and overall they are 18-10 in playoff action. Won a state tournament back in 1985.
Yeah, Coach JACOWAY took over, I believe it was like in '83, and he's just done a remarkable job with the program up there on Sand Mountain. And here's a young man that's about to wear his leg out.
Yeah, he only hit it to the 4 that time.
Losing distance.
And a huge hit on the return, and there's some guys playing hard. That is DeCarlos Walters, who lowered the boom on Jesse Kemenit.
And Jesse's slow getting up, and I would understand why.
That was a big-time hit.
Yeah, interesting to note that if you'll remember, there's the hit. DeCarlos Walters, number 63. He's the guy that had the late hit on Kemenit to start the second half, and perhaps a little fired up for more than one reason.
And he is shaken up.
Let's hope he's all right. Hope that's a bell rung type deal.
He looks to be okay.
Well, with the exception of the fact that he got up and said, "I'm Batman."
3:37. I make it 7:37 left in this ball game. 37-0 is the score. Ball at the 25-yard line. Let's see if Sandrock has any magic left in this 1997 season. Lucas McMicken under center, and they're going to have to throw to get back in this game. He throws, and it's caught, and it is short of a first down. As he goes down at the 36-yard line, only a pickup of about, well, 6 yards on the play.
It looked like it gained more than it really did. I thought he was closer to the first down.
So did I.
But he's rolling. He's throwing on the run. And a nice pass by McMicken, and a nice catch by Abernathy, who had to turn around and get the football. But move the yardage. Move 4 yardage. Move the chains. Erase your goose egg. There are a lot of things that Sandrock would like to do right now.
2nd and 5. They give the ball off to Abernathy. Ty turning the corner. Needs to get to the 35 for the first down, and he's close.
I believe you got it.
This crowd has almost gone silent also. They've just been lulled into either a sense of security for Luverne or a sense of shock for Sandrock. They're kind of shell-shocked right now.
Well, and you know, I am too. I expected this to be a 28-27 type game when you've got the number 4, number 5 ranked teams in 2A. And they're probably cold too.
They are going to measure it.
Why? I could have told them it was a first down from up here. Thank you.
And it is, yes. Eagle Eye Coulter. So it is a first down, and that is one of the few that they have picked up in this football game this afternoon. They only had 6 in the first half. And they keep the drive alive. And the ball at the 35-yard line. The backs are in the eye. McMicken off under center. Tight end shifts to the right side. That's John Foster. And to the fullback, who spins ahead for perhaps 3 yards. That was Abernathy. It's Sean Abernathy. By keeping it on the ground, they're using up lots of clock, and that doesn't work to their advantage either.
Well, you know, as a coach, you're down there, you know you're down 37-0. You're only playing 12-minute quarters, so the chances of you getting back into the game are not real good, let's be honest. But you don't want to get a lot worse either, so you're going to probably run a little clock on your own.
As we look at the Sand Rock roster, they are a fairly young team. Here's a blitz, and going down from the sack is Lucas McMicken, and he goes down inside the 30-yard line.
Pick a player. Let's see, Pat Campbell, 22, had a hand in there. I think Rayon Willis. There are 3 guys. Can you give a third of a sack? Because I think technically you can give a half, but I don't know if you can give a third of a sack to each guy. But there's Willis. He's coming off the field.
Big play defensively. Brings up a 3rd down and about 15. So after they do something prosperous, they then take it away from themselves. As the sack, and of course, credit Luverne for that.
Absolutely.
They have just run into a buzzsaw. Pump fake short right, going to air it out to the far side. That ball is too long and overthrown, and probably a good thing it was, because Pickett was there and would have probably hauled that one in for an interception had it not been as far downfield as it was.
Well, it's not, I don't mind to call it off. He does pick it off. It's as good as a punt, really.
Yeah.
The only thing I mind about it is it stopped the clock.
And so on 4th down, they will punt the football away, and once again Luverne is going to have outstanding field position. McMicken is also their punter, and he shanks it. Comes off the side of his foot. It hits, and it does take somewhat of a Sand Rock roll, but out of bounds at midfield. So outstanding field position for that man right there, Keon Carter and his Charges. The interesting story, and we mentioned it at the beginning of the football game, is that Glenn Daniel was the head coach for 38 years and has the most wins in Alabama high school football, 302. And he retired and then came back as a volunteer assistant. And he has helped this football team along the way. And you look at the passing yardage, Luverne has not put it in the air all that much, but they didn't have to. They lead it 37-0, and we'll be back in just a moment. On here, it's cold and overcast, but there's a warm feeling in the stands for Luverne because they are on the verge of taking home a state championship. They lead it 37-0, and they have the football. And this is Lowry, who's had a big game. He cuts back left, and he makes something out of nothing, breaks a tackle, and he might go. He's at the 30. He's at the 25. He's at the 15. He's in the end zone. A touchdown as he walked the tightrope on the near sideline. That's a 50-yard touchdown scamper. And that fat lady is clearing her voice.
She's done more than clear the voice. I think there's your MVP, too. He has done everything today on special teams. He's got a pick. He's run for, well, he's going for a second one right here. A little nose for the end zone, too. Cabinet kind of catches up with him, but he just doesn't quite have the angle. 95 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and he may take home some hardware in the trophy department as well. Point after is good, and it is 44-0. And Luverne very much in control of this football game. A lot of happy fans here in red on the west side. The east side is totally different.
Watch him make something out of nothing here. We are going to look at it. We were. And in a moment, I'm sure.
Well, you're right. He went one way, danced a little bit, and then he cut back out. And then there you see him. He's in the wide open field. Just does do a little tightrope, as you mentioned, up and into the green and white checkerboard end zone.
He is only a junior. Rodney will be back to harass some defenses next year and some offenses as he plays on both sides of the football. Samuels has been a busy man. He kicks it away. Oh, to the one this time. So he got a little leg strength back. And Campbell, it's crunched.
And that young man, it's Pat Campbell, who started this onslaught back in the first quarter with a 39-yard touchdown run, but pretty big hit there. You'll see names and numbers on defense, special teams, and offense throughout the game. 2A is a small school, the second smallest division in the state of Alabama. Therefore, you know, you probably got 50 guys on the roster at most.
McMicken will throw. He throws to the tight end. Actually, check that. It is caught by Abernathy, Sean Abernathy. He did not get out of bounds. You know, at this point, you got to play it like you still have a chance, even though you're down 44-0. And his coach probably would have liked to have seen him get out of bounds to stop the clock. Although he was, now we see, he wasn't as close to the sideline as it first appeared.
Well, you run your offense. You run your game plan as best you can. Luverne has certainly they've had a lot to say about what the Wildcats can do. And you start playing some guys from next year. It's a true character builder, though, let me tell you.
There's a big hole on the draw, and he cuts back left, breaking tackles. Looked like he was going to get more than he did. Carries it out to the 35-yard line.
That's a 145-pounder, and he's shedding tacklers like he's about 220.
His sock on his right foot says Mama on it. Playing for his mother.
Well, I most imagine she's bundled up on that far sideline.
2nd down and 5 coming up. McMicken will throw. It is caught by Blanks. And that is a first down, so they'll stop the clock long enough to move up the chains. 3 minutes and 22 seconds. You know, that's what they're wanting to do, but you know, in reality, 44 points is a lot of points to try to make up, and just a little over a quarter. You've got 15 minutes and 22 seconds left in the entire football game, and they've yet to score to this point.
No, comeback is not likely.
Out of the shotgun. Little whoopie pass, that's incomplete, and he took a tremendous hit. And now going down to help him back up is Pat Campbell. Knock him down and pick him up.
Tell him you'll be back to see him later. Isn't that what Coach Bryant said in that ill-fated movie? That play was ill-fated from the get-go as well. Too much pursuit by Luverne.
Almost nothing has worked this afternoon for Sandrock. And if it has, then something has happened immediately following that negates the positive. 44-0. It has been all Luverne. And on 2nd down and 10, play action. He is hit as he gets it away. It is caught, held on to by Abernathy. Again, short of a first down.
Well, they're still fighting, aren't they? Let me tell you something, Lucas McMicken has taken his fair share of shots. He just took another one and ended up on his keister, but he's still back there passing, still back there throwing it. And he's just a sophomore, so, you know, he's gaining time. He's thinking, I still got 2 more years to come back here and make something happen in a different way.
3rd down and 4 coming up. Shift the tight end to the right side. They're going to keep it on the ground, and that will stall and bring up 4th down. At this point, do you play like it's desperation time and you go ahead and go on 4th and 4, or do you punt it away and play it like it's, you know, a close ball game? You're going to take a chance of giving the ball to Luverne in outstanding field position again. The ball is at the 49-yard line.
Well, you got a lot of things to fight for when you're out there, pride, character, and all those things. But right now, what they like to do more than anything is erase the zero.
Yeah.
So I'm all for going for it. You're at midfield.
On 4th and 5, short drop over the middle, batted away, and that is going to go incomplete. And I'm not certain who may have gotten a hand on it. Looking at that line, you can pick out a couple of suspects. Perhaps Willis was the man who got a hand on it. That's a dejected young man going off the field right there.
Well, and I think Blanks kind of halfway batted this himself. Just didn't quite haul it in. Little in front of him. Now, it's the point where, you know, what do you do if you're Coach Norman? I mean, the nose has been bloodied enough. But you got kids over there that want to play. You got young guys that will play. You want to get everybody in the championship game. They're not going to stop blocking and running hard.
And that's Jackson who carries the ball down to the 45-yard line. I guess the one thing you do is you just try to keep it on the ground and let the clock roll. The ball was fumbled.
A mistake by Luverne.
That is their first turnover, and it's going to belong to Sand Rock.
Well, see, there's another reason you go for it. When they get it back, they may turn it over to you. Wishful thinking, certainly, on anyone's part.
So Sand Rock will have the football at their own 46-yard line. And the turnover department, Sand Rock has turned it over twice, and those both led the scores. And now Sand Rock is hoping that they can convert. And the handoff to Ty Abernathy trying to get outside. He's bumped out of bounds at midfield, a 4-yard pickup.
Well, and that's Rodney Lowery over there. He fought off the block and then made the hit. Otherwise, might have turned the corner and gotten upfield.
Well, a lot of times they say it's all over but the shouting. And it's really right now that these two groups of fans have kind of just settled into this one, and Luverne is waiting for that clock to tick down so they can officially celebrate it. 44-0. It seems to be a foregone conclusion. And some nice individual effort there. Abernathy picking his way. That is Ty Abernathy.
It's good hard running. I believe he got out for the first down. Indeed he did. 1:09 remaining in the third period. That is correct. 44-0. This is the 2A championship.
Yeah, I think the thing that is as amazing as anything is Sand Rock averages 31.5 points a game. They have yet to scratch. That is a tribute to the defense of Luverne. They just had an outstanding game plan defensively, and either that or they just match up incredibly well against the Sand Rock team's offense. Play action. McMicken passes, and it is caught, and that is a first down.
I think it's probably as good a time as any to tell you who their defensive coordinator is. It's Glenn Daniel. It's the winningest coach in the history of high school football in the heart of Dixie. And he has absolutely shut down Sand Rock to this point.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier in the game. He said that these guys have to be smart. He was talking about Bowen for one. He said, I never get a chance to talk to him because he doesn't come off the field. He said, I love these guys because you don't have to worry about them coming in and out of every other play or whatever. They want to play every play. And here is a broken play pulled down by McMicken, and he runs himself for a first down to the 15-yard line. And now also Luverne's playing for that shutout. You know, they're up 44-0. It's almost a foregone conclusion with 13 seconds left in the third quarter that they're going to win this ball game. But they would love to put a goose egg up on the board and do that for their coach.
I believe we've seen the last few seconds of the third quarter. We've got one more to go.
12 minutes left in the season for Sand Rock and Luverne. Luverne leading 44-0. Back to Legion Field for what will be the fourth and final quarter in just a moment. action as we are getting ready to start the fourth and final quarter.
I want to find a photographer in that big group. Dave's down there laying on his back. Nice job.
If you were looking at it just being a time of possession type of ball game, you would think Sandrock was winning this game, but Luverne has scored so rapidly and scored on the defensive side of the ball that that's the only stat that is probably in the negative for them. Inside handoff, running straight ahead. And that is Ty Abernathy. Abernathy has been the workhorse. He's carried it a lot, not broken one as of yet. And they are looking to try to get into the end zone just for a matter of pride. It's down to the 12-yard line.
Abernathy with 19 carries and 54 yards. He's going to be a sore young man tomorrow.
Looking at Sandrock, they have Abernathy as a senior, Ty Abernathy, and Tad, his twin brother, also a senior. And off to the tailback. This is Ty running inside the 10, near the 5-yard line. And it will be short of a first down by about a yard.
Watch the number of hits this guy. Keep in mind, he's listed at 145 pounds. Take that one. Take another one. I like this one he takes right here, and then he just kind of rolls over it and gets another half a yard. Finished off there by Mel Willis.
Ball at the 6-yard line. It is third down and about a foot. McMicken dives ahead. He has a first down, I believe.
Yep.
And so they'll have 4 more cracks from inside the 5-yard line to try to get their first score of the ballgame. This is a team that we talked about averages over 31 points a ball game and has been shut out by a very good Luverne football team.
Well, and you know, Sandrock, they pounded some pretty good teams coming in here. Cold Springs, Winterboro, South Lamar. They won that one in overtime, and then they beat Springville. It's not going to happen with Luverne.
Running out of the power eye and down to the end zone. And it is a touchdown for Sean Abernathy. And they have broken the shutout.
Well, good for Sandrock. This is great effort on the part of Sean Abernathy. They're down 44 points at this point, but they're still running hard. Both the Abernathys are. Watch him fight off the block. And that guy's made a lot of tackles. He's fighting off Wood, the linebacker. He twists into the end zone, and that's, I wouldn't say a confidence builder, but it certainly looks a little bit better in the newspaper tomorrow, doesn't it?
McMicken will kick the extra point through, and it's 44-7. We have 10-12 left. This is from the end zone.
Abernathy, just a straight handoff. Pretty good blocking up front, too. Willis just kind of pushes Wood into him, and then there's Sean stretching into the end zone for the touchdown. At the risk of sounding ridiculous, I'm wondering why they didn't go for 2.
Well, you know. 44-7 is the score. There's your time. 10-12 left in the football game. Sandrock, as we're looking down their roster, they have a lot of underclassmen. Of course, they're going to lose their quarterback. McMicken is going to, or actually, I'm sorry, McMicken is a sophomore, so he'll be back. So they do have some people that will be returning. Blanks is a junior. He'll be back. They have another Abernathy on the team, Brandon Abernathy, who's a freshman. Cabinet is a junior. So they may just have to reload next year.
You're right. Very young team.
And they're in the state finals, so it's a team that went 12-1 to this point in the season. They have a experienced head football coach, and they have a winning tradition. This is the 11th playoff for them, 11th trip to the state playoffs.
They will go back a couple of weeks ago, the game against Montgomery Academy, where Academy was about to tie things up. A little guy by the name of Heath Lowry burst through and blocked the extra point and enabled Luverne to win 17-16. That's the quarterfinals a couple of weeks ago. And they'll probably look back in the season at that one play.
Outside of the opening kickoff, this is the first kickoff we've had in this football game. And it's to be taken by one of the up men. He's calling a fair catch on a kickoff.
It was pretty high.
44-7 our score.
Young fans here. You know, it is like 40 degrees, but there's no wind, and it's not a lot of warmth and sunshine because it's hiding behind the clouds, but it's appropriate at all. Say it's almost a warm 40. The guys running the camera saying it was a lot colder last night.
Ken Carter's going to remain in the ball game at cornerback. Gives it to Lowry. Lowry is stacked up. In fact, he lost a couple of yards back to the 31. Time of possession through 3 quarters. 23 minutes, 47 seconds for Sandrock. 12-13 for Luverne. And in the total yards, 261 for Luverne to 202. That was through the 3 quarters. 9:34 left in the football game and in the season. Lowry has some field and he will turn. Get by his man with a great move to the outside, and he steps out of bounds at the 44-yard line. They're going to spot him at the 43. Lowry may have sealed his MVP status as far as this football game is concerned. He has had an outstanding contest, and there's another reason why.
Look at his vision, Jeff, and he fakes for counting it right out of it. But he weaves. He's going back and forth. He's looking for blockers. He's looking for places to cut. There again is the one that sends 24 down on his backside, and then up sideline. That is his 10th carry. He is way over the 100-yard mark now with 120 yards. And as I mentioned, 10 carries. Yeah, I think that's your most valuable play.
And he has 2 touchdowns. Actually, he has scored 3 touchdowns because one of those was an interception return on the option. He's going to add some more to his yardage. He runs the tightrope, and he's out of bounds. Down, no, he did not get out of bounds, but he is down at the 17-yard line.
Well,
perfectly.
Yeah, it is. He fakes the option, then he pitches, and then again, watch the vision and watch his knowledge. He knows exactly where that side marker is, although I think he stepped out right maybe a little earlier, but he got down to the 17-yard line. And I'm about at the point where I'm going to let Lowry sit out the rest of the game. Maybe let him cap off his MVP here.
145 yards for Mr. Lowry, only a junior. Carter, their quarterback, is a senior. They'll lose him. They have some top prospects on this team. Lowry running left side this time. Now look at him reverse his field. He's going to run back to the 10, to the 5, put another touchdown on the board for Mr. Lowry. That is a human highlight film.
You see guys pivot and you see guys cut, but rarely do you see him just stop and then turn around. He did that's his own counter play, for goodness sakes. And then when he gets back over here, the pursuit by the Wildcats is such that he goes in untouched from the cut.
The deuce. He's making a name for himself. That gives him 162 yards, and that's a half 100. And now with the extra point, make it 51. 51-7 is the score in what has been a Luverne rout of Sandrock.
Well, the deuce used to run loose in this field for Jackson Olin, and then for the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, I'm speaking of David Palmer. That deuce does a little trickery of his own. I don't know that I've ever seen a pivot. That almost looked like a pivot man in basketball. Just, whoa, I don't like what I'm seeing over there. And then he does the rest on his own. He does get some blocking. Now, his teammates are well aware what he's capable of doing with a football, so they don't stop blocking.
Every announce crew dreads a lopsided ball game, 51-7. But even though we've had this lopsided a ball game, we have been treated to some outstanding individual plays, and that has helped make it somewhat interesting, even though the outcome is not in doubt. Luverne rolling up the total yardage there, 328 now to 217 for Sandrock.
Well, half of those are Rodney's.
Good size back, 5'10", 160. They'll try to put some weight on him. And there'll be some colleges looking at this young man. You know, this is an opportunity that perhaps if you never had been exposed to college scouts before, and it's hard to imagine anybody not being seen these days because they beat the bushes in every part of the country. But there's an opportunity for somebody to step up in a big game and be able to show his wares in front of a lot of people, and his stock will go up a lot of times, like the All-Star games and the college All-Star games. On the kickoff, back to the 28-yard line. On the return, that's Kemen.
51-7. You know, it's Thomas. We both do the same thing. Time, I guess, to start looking back in the record book and see about the most lopsided victory. It's the most lopsided victory in SuperSix history.
This is the most points this year that Luverne has scored. Their previous high had been 42 points. They had beaten Brantley 42-6. So this will be the most points in the most lopsided game if it stays as it is. McMicken will throw the screen, and it's dropped. And that has happened more than one time this afternoon, as Sean Abernathy unable to lock up on the pass in the flat. You look at the pressure put on him because of the blitz.
And who else? That's our friend Mr. Wood putting pressure on McMicken, and it's another one of the guys in maroon and white is going to be a tad sore.
Second down and 10 coming up. Need to get to the 38 to pick up a first down. They keep it on the ground as they hand the ball off to Ty Abernathy. We're down to 8 minutes and 13 seconds in the season. The fewest points this year that San Roque scored was 14 in a 14-7 victory in the very last ball game that got them here to the state championship. They beat Springville 14-7. That was the least amount of points that they had scored all year long.
Oddly enough, the most lopsided game here a year ago was in 2A.
Pass play, that's too tall. And he goes incomplete for Tad Abernathy.
And that's when Clay County beat Lineville 43-0. And oddly enough, I had the privilege of doing that game too, with Mr. Randy Armistead, the man to your left.
Randy's been our statistician up here throughout the entire Super Six, and we appreciate his good work. He's had a lot of statistics to work with.
Yes, in this one.
On one side of the board, at least.
Yeah.
And another punt. And it's away, and let's see what happens here. This is Willis. I'll check it. I beg your pardon. This is Lowry. Lowry carries the ball back to the 45-yard line.
I'm a little surprised he's still in there. I think maybe you'd want to get some of your own guys in there and get a chance to field a punt under these conditions. But then again, you don't want it fumbled either. So several different ways to look at it. And that guy's a junior, so you want to get him some more playing time. I believe we have a change in quarterback. Indeed we do.
Yep, new quarterback in there for Luverne, and that is D. Crittenden. He's a sophomore, 5'9" sophomore. Running play right side, and that will be carried for a couple.
Several different ways to look at it. And that guy's a junior, so you want to get him some more playing time. I believe we have a change in quarterback. Indeed we do.
Yep, new quarterback in there for Luverne, and that is D. Crittenden. He's a sophomore, 5'9" sophomore. Running play right side, and that will be carried for a couple of yards. That's Lowry still in there, is it? No, check it, number 7. That's Mark Guy.
And we got a new tailback in there, Travis Oliver.
Josh Melvin, a running back, sophomore coming in. So they're going to get a chance to play about 8 minutes or so of this football game. We're actually down to 7 minutes now. Second down and 9.
It's important. I mean, these guys have probably been getting their brains beat out in scout teams all year and all that. And they get a chance to get some carries. We got a timeout.
They call timeout with 6 minutes, 48 seconds remaining. There you see Deke Crittenden. We're going to take a quick timeout as well. Back to Legion Field in half a minute.
The coming of age of the adolescent grizzly bear. A strange rite of passage where they cry out for their most primal, urgent need.
Heaven help us if they ever learn the Macarena.
Pepsi, Generation Next.
One of our cameramen from the end zone right underneath the big scoreboard here at Legion Field.
Who's in that end zone? That Frankie? Man, my hat's off to you guys. You've had a tough job.
Play goes down on this running play. This is a tough game to officiate also. When you get a game that's this lopsided, it is difficult a lot of times to try to throw that flag. You know, they're down there. They know it's lopsided, and probably the officials want this thing to get over as quickly as everybody else does.
Yeah, and they'd like to, when a guy's really out of bounds and it's very close, they'd like to just keep the clock running, keep that arm motion going. But, you know, they have to stick to their rules and all.
You're going to see the penalty here.
Crack back. That's a
Got it.
clip.
Against the offense, 15 yards, replay the down.
6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Luverne, 9.1 yard per play. Sandrock averaging 3.9 yards per play. Now that is going to win you some football games. You pick up 9 yards every time you run a play.
After that, the penalties are pretty even, though. We got
another flag going down, and those penalties are going to start mounting up. You got some guys out there who may not be used to playing with each other. And they're coming around with the ballots.
Up the playing field, the most valuable player. Number 2, Rodney Lowry, most valuable player in the game. We'd like to congratulate Rodney Lowry as well as the entire Sandrock team, the entire executive director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association will present the 2A state championship trophy. The Alabama High School Athletic Association, your SuperSix championship sponsors, the Metropolitan Quarterback Club,